Welcome in everybody, Blythe Brumleve with digitaldispatch.io and Freight School Playbook. And today I want to talk about how to get users to your website and get them to book more demos. Now, I originally wanted to talk about this in a traditional format, but I saw a LinkedIn post the other day that really just resonated with me, and it was from the company called Freightwaves, and they were talking about the difficulties in running a business, and really not just right now during COVID, during potential lockdowns, but just running a business in general. Now, this company is great at marketing. They have a great website, and their main call to action for users whenever they come to their website is to book a demo. And the problem that they were talking about in this LinkedIn post is that they get about 10 to 15 people to book a demo every single day, but half of those people aren't showing up. And it's a challenging situation that they're dealing with, that they're not the only ones that are dealing with this. So I wanted to do a little bit of digging, and I pulled up the Freightwaves Freight Tech Top 100 list and went through damn near all of the companies that are on the list to see which companies are offering a software solution. And out of those companies that are offering a software solution, how many of them have a book a demo option on their site, and how is it converting for them? And the overwhelming majority of these companies on the list have a very standard, it's sort of industry practice. It's not just this industry, but under other industries as well, where they just have the standard book a demo, you fill out a long form, and a sales rep is going to reach out in order to book a time slot with you in order to review their software offerings. It's pretty typical, it's pretty standard. That's been in the industry for a while now, but there are ways to improve this method, and we're going to talk about those in today's video. But the reason that this resonated with me, this particular LinkedIn post, is that they're doing all of the right things. They have great marketing. They have a great website. When they have users come to their site, they actually take it a step further. Instead of a standard form, they have what's called a Calendy Integration, and they integrated their calendar through a software program, which I'm assuming is called Calendy, and it's Calendly, and it's a program that syncs to your calendar. If you're a HubSpot user, you're probably familiar with their calendar feature. It works a lot in the same way, but it syncs to your calendar, and you're able to book a call with a sales rep at a time of your choice that best fits your schedule. So instead of just having a typical form and then adding that extra step for users to reach out to, or for their sales reps to reach out to the user to then book the time slot and then hope that they show up, Freightwaves is actually taking the next step and having that calendar and invitation right on their website. So they're already a step ahead of the game, but I thought that this video would be a great example of how some of these solutions could possibly help Freightwaves and really help some of these other companies that are out there that just have a form on their site and they expect people to book a demo that way. And it's not the most efficient way to do it in 2020 and beyond. So I'm going to go through a few tips that I am seeing outside of the industry in hopes that companies within the logistics industry will take advantage of these tips. So let's go ahead and dive into a few of them. Now, the first one on this list is I want to talk about the biggest mistake I see is not listing your pricing directly on your website. And the reason that this is a problem is that if I don't see pricing, me as a user, if I don't see pricing on your website, then I'm going to assume it's really expensive, or I'm going to assume that you're just not confident enough in listing your prices on your site and the value add of what you're offering and the confidence in the pricing to put it directly on your site. So I'm probably not going to book a demo if I can't immediately see if this item is in my budget or if it's not in my budget. What's also going to happen too is you're leaving yourself open to having other people control your SEO, your search engine optimization, because what's going to happen is if you don't list the price on your site, no matter if it's a complex tool or not, this is going to be something that is going to, another company like a Capterra or another software review company is going to write that article. They're going to collect that information, and then they're going to control that SEO phrase of XYZ TMS price that keyword phrase, they're going to control it. So you want to be the one that controls that messaging. And if it is a higher tier priced item, don't be afraid of putting that pricing that says starting out at XYZ price. You want to be confident in the offerings that you're giving and the price point of what your product starts with. Otherwise, as a user, if I get to that point where I am booking a demo and I hear a price tag that is out of my price range, you just wasted my time. You just wasted the sales rep's time. So why not just save everybody a lot of headaches and just be front and center with the price range of where your products are at? So that is my number one tip. Put your pricing with your demo signups. Otherwise, people are just going to get nervous and they're going to think that it's not a solution for them. When it comes to the demos itself, the demo is the holy grail of marketing. And whether it's an RFQ, a request for quote, or it's a demo request, you have reached the holy grail in your marketing where you have done everything that you, as a marketer, or if you work in marketing or if you work in sales, that is the holy grail. You've put your messaging out into the world. You've done your email, your social, your video, your podcast. You've created all of this fantastic content, and then you get the users to your site and you want them to sign up for the demo. Now, where we've kind of hit a roadblock in recent years as far as marketing is concerned is that tools like HubSpot have taught us that all you have to do is just create a landing page and an ebook and then get a user to download the ebook and they're going to be put into your sales funnel. We know that. The users know that. They know as soon as you go to a website and you download an ebook, you might read it, you might not, but you know you're going to be put into an email sequence, you're going to be called. Probably both of those things are going to happen. But what happens in that instance for users is that they're looking for information, and putting it behind an email form where you have to submit your email in order to get it, you're gatekeeping that content. And what happens in that situation is that users are just looking for information. They're not ready to buy yet. And so when a sales rep is reaching out to them a couple days later, or even that day, sometimes 30 minutes after you fill out or you download the ebook, you haven't even had a chance to read the ebook yet before a sales rep is already reaching out to you. It creates a kind of stuffy situation where you just are going to ignore that sales rep altogether because you haven't even had a chance to read the ebook. And what happens with a lot of ebook downloads is that you get it, you save it for later, you intend to read it, but then you never actually read it. And then what happens after that? The process of what HubSpot has taught us as the holy grail of marketing has changed. Ebooks should no longer be gated content where you have to enter your information in order to get a user to convert, because they're more than likely not going to convert. What you want to direct those users to do is to get involved with your company in another way where they're actually speaking to someone, which is why I call the RFQ process or the book a demo process as the holy grail of marketing. So whenever you are thinking about your website strategy, your website plan in order to get those users to that end goal, and the end goal is actually just getting them to become a customer, but you want to have that middle ground, and that middle ground is booking a demo. And so whenever you are thinking about the blueprint of your website, you want to think about where you're going to place those CTAs, those call to actions for book a demo or request an RFQ. You're going to put those, obviously there's a couple given situations where you're going to put them in the menu of your website, the very top navigation menu, the hamburger menu, however your website is formatted. You want to make sure it is front and center, ideally a different color than the rest of what your website navigation looks like. You're also going to want to put it in the footer of your website. Think from a user experience perspective. If you go to a website and you're trying to figure out, what they offer, what problems are they going to potentially solve for you, you want to think about that user experience as they scroll to the bottom of your site. Is there another option to book a demo at the bottom of the site? After they've read through all of your information about your company, are you going to give them another call to action at the bottom to do what you want them to do? So you want to make sure you have CTAs in multiple locations, not just the navigation and the footer of your website, but also the blog sidebar. There are also tools out there that If you're publishing a lot of blogs, then you want to think about having what's called in-content CTAs. Now, these in-content CTAs are usually programmable. You can change them out as your digital sales strategy evolves, but think about it from the user experience where they're reading a blog article and after, say, 600 words, you have a graphic in the middle of that article that says, hey, book this demo now, or, like what you're, whatever sales copy that you think is going to convert the best, you're going to put that in the middle of the blog post. And you're going to do that several times depending on the length of the article. If you're writing a 3,000 word article, which isn't common in order if you want to rank for SEO phrases, but if you have a very long article, feel free to put that in-content CTA throughout the article several times. So those are just a few different ideas of if the book a demo request or the book a demo request for quote is your ultimate goal of what you want users to achieve, you have to make it as easy as possible for those users to see it front and center. So that's why I suggest having it in multiple locations throughout your website. Experiment with different colors. There are studies that show that sometimes one color will convert the best at the top menu, another color will convert the best in a blog sidebar. Do some different testing, test out some different phrases, but if that is your ultimate goal for your website, you need to make sure that it appears in as many high touch areas as possible. All right, now let's talk about the 3 keys to getting more users to book a demo on your site. And I'm going to show you a couple examples when I talk about this here. I mentioned earlier that FreightPath has a really good example of how they get users to book a demo. And I'm going to show you that here. So this is the homepage of their website, and look at, it's very bold. It's schedule a demo is right there. And the option that pops up for them is the calendar invitation. And so right now you can see up ahead how many days that you can schedule in advance to book a time slot with one of their sales reps in order to review their product offering. You click on a day, you can see the various times here. Now the way this works is it syncs to your calendar and it can sync to several different people. So say you have a few different people on your sales team and they're responsible for taking sales calls that book demos that day immediately. That's one of the options that you need to offer as far as book a demo. You need to have a dedicated team that if someone wants to book a time immediately, they can book that time today, tomorrow, and hopefully a sales rep will be on staff to answer their questions immediately. But this is a really great example of offering that ability to book a time slot immediately. Now, the next option that I want to show that I was really impressed with, and I had to do a couple different Google searches in order to find these companies, but Loadpilot I thought did a fantastic job because they're giving you several different options to check out their product. Now, this is their homepage, and front and center, what do you see? You get a little bit of a glimpse into their software profile with this big header image right here. And then they also have 3 different options right in the front. You don't even have to scroll and you can already see the options. Now, before I'm going to come back to that in a second, but another great tip is to have the phone number front and center as well. So they clearly have it here. So you can dial it right away. And then they also have the other 2 book a demo options here, but not just book a demo options, but a buy now option. I've seen some companies where if you don't have your pricing on your website, but the customer is ready to buy, and there's no option on the website in order for that user to make a purchase. And so what happens is that you fill out a standard form and then a sales rep will get back to you in a day or 2 and you just lost that sale because that user has already made a purchasing decision when it was easier for them to go with a competitor. So what Loadpilot does really well here is that they have not just a test drive of their platform, but they have a ready to buy now button right on their website. The one thing I would like to see is they do have an intro video, which is fantastic, but I would suggest instead of making the user click an extra time to watch the intro video, because this clicks right to a YouTube video. So instead of doing that, I would take that video and I would replace this image with the video. And then that way you can set up a Google goal, you can set up a Google event, and you can track how many people are clicking the video to watch the video, or if they're clicking on the 30-day test drive or the buy now button. So those are 3 different options that they're showing you right from the jump. So I love that. They are definitely ahead of the game in that regard. Now, another option that I saw that I really liked as well is from ShipStation, and they have a schedule a demo option, but they have 3 different options of what you can choose from. Just getting started, an established business, or they've already had a trial run and they're ready to buy. So these options are really great. They all link to separate Calendy invites. So then that way, these users, they're talking to specified sales reps instead of just a general sales rep that is maybe new to the game or maybe not, maybe somewhat fresh to the company. If they're an established business, you probably want them to talk to a sales manager or somebody a little bit higher up because that person is a little bit closer to making a purchase. But I thought having these 3 options here was really a great example. Now, there was another example that I wanted to show you guys, and this one comes from PC Miller because this is going to go into my next point is when you have your next key to booking more demos is to have as much information on your product out there. No gatekeeping, don't put it behind an email form that you have to fill out in order to get the user to convert. Put your information front and center and let the user decide if it's a right fit for them or not. And I thought that PC Miller did a great job. And this link actually comes from a Capterra form, from the Capterra website, which is a software review website in case you guys aren't aware, but it comes from a software review website and they have a specialized landing page specifically for that, which I thought was really smart as well. So PC Miller, good job on that. And when you come to their website, the first thing you see is a page specified for where that user was coming from. So obviously the user that's going to Capterra is a little bit closer to in the buying process, and they have a specialized link that comes to this page that's geared more towards them. Their homepage does not look like this. It is more of a general overview. This is more specific, which is a step up as far as industry marketing is concerned. Now, you request a trial, and with the requested trial, it brings you all the way down to the bottom of the page. But say the user isn't ready to fill out that form just yet. So what do? They scroll up just a little bit, because that's what I did. And I scrolled up a little bit and I saw the product training videos. And this is where I think it's a gold mine for a lot of TMS software providers, really anybody in the logistics space. This is something that a lot of companies aren't taking advantage of, and they absolutely should. So what happens is that you go to this resource page and they have everything broken down. I would like to see this organized just a little bit better, just based off of different, sort of your ICP profile. But in that respect, this is just minor tweaking that they would have to do. But they have different videos based off of different buyer profiles. So if I'm an HOS manager, I'm obviously going to click on this video here and I'm going to watch that particular video and how it solves my problems. Another suggestion that I would probably make for this page, and this is just nitpicking, they probably have their own reasons for putting their videos on Vimeo, but I would also suggest to cross promote these videos to YouTube as well. YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine on the planet, and maybe they have these videos already on YouTube. I'm not 100% sure, but the videos that are shown on this page are all hosted on Vimeo. So if I was them, I would put these videos all on YouTube as well, just in case people are searching for that solution. Then you'll be one of the top results that show up in Google, because Google prioritizes videos higher than they do typical blog content. So those are some really great examples, but the overwhelming majority, and I would say I don't know of a single company in this space that is doing this, but the 3 keys that I talked about on getting more demos booked on your site is to book the time immediately. And then you have a resources page with a bunch of different questions or frequently asked questions that your users are either asking or they're likely asking. And if you don't know this answer, then the way to find out those questions that people are asking goes into the 3rd key, which is to hold group webinars. Have a monthly or maybe a bi-weekly group webinar that you set up. And so several people are joining this webinar instead of just a one-on-one. One-on-ones can sometimes be a little too intimidating, a little too, I guess, pressure packed is the way that I could say it. But when you have a group webinar and you have several people joining it, then that is an opportunity where other people can join in with like-minded people from the same industry. And you can listen to several different questions that are being asked. You can run through a rough demo of your product itself, and then you can have the opportunity to have a Q&A portion of the webinar, which the Q&A portion will help you when it comes to the resources section of your site, because some people just want to test drive the program immediately. Now, there are options out there that you can do what's called a product tour, and you can give people instant access to your product, and you can give them a guided tour of the website as soon as they log into the program or as soon as they log into the system. Now, there is a little bit of a worry that if you give them instant access to your software, then you're not collecting that lead information. But there is an argument to be made that if you've done your marketing well enough, that when somebody has the ability to check out the program, to check out the platform, when they book the demo, they already know what they're working with. They already know a good price range, so they know it's within their budget. They know that it does some things well. When they're booking a demo, they're usually in those final stages of the buying process. So they're more likely to buy, they're more ready to buy when they do book that demo. So that is an important reminder as well, that you have to give users options, but also make sure that you're creating that content ahead of time so you're answering as many of those questions as possible before you get them to book a demo. Because when they book a demo, they should be really close to making a purchasing decision. So if you're having a lot of users that aren't showing up to the demo, or they're not purchasing after the demo is complete, you have to figure out where the gap is when it comes to your digital marketing and when it comes to your sales process. Because ideally, you want those to work cohesively together so that sales reps aren't wasting their time on people who are booking demos that are never going to convert, or they're not wasting their time on no-shows for people who don't want to show up because maybe they just found another option, maybe they bought a competitor. But you want to be able to give these options to either watch a recording immediately of a past webinar, join a group webinar, book immediately. And if you offer those different kinds of options, I believe that you will see an increase in the, not only just the ROI, but the amount of people that are thoroughly engaging with your platform and are ready to make that purchase. It's not a foolproof method. There's a lot of testing involved, but that's what digital marketing is. But the more options you can give to your users, the more accommodating you can be, the more success that you're going to have. So we talked about a lot of different options into getting users to book a demo or request an RFQ on your website. But what if you're not sure about where to go from here, or really where your digital marketing stands at all? Well, that's where a company like mine comes into play. Right now on the digitaldispatch.io website, we are offering scouting reports, and a scouting report is essentially you're hiring me to create a one-time report to review the front end of your website, the back end of your website, and the marketing of your website. Also to make sure that your analytics are installed, they're installed correctly. Also, setting up different marketing funnels, seeing where your visitors are coming from, where they're dropping off, what SEO phrases you could be taking advantage of, some low-hanging fruit opportunities. I look at all of those things, I compile the report, and then I give the report to you for you to make whatever kind of purchasing decision that you have in mind. You can either use that report and you can give it to your internal team, you can hire another third party or another agency, or you can ideally hire someone like me. Now, these reports, I can do them on a one-time basis, quarterly, 6 months, but I highly recommend that either you or someone within your organization can conduct your digital marketing audit, because that's essentially what this is. And so for the way that it works with me is that you can go to the digitaldispatch.io website. Under the products tab is an item called the scouting report. You click on the scouting report and you just make the purchase on the website. It's $7.99. It's a great deal, and you get a customized scouting report for your website for the tech side and the marketing side, plus a high-level content marketing plan. Now, using all of that information, you can then make the best choice possible into what best serves your business. Some people like to do it themselves. Some people like to hire somebody else to do it for them, but everything is included in that report. If I were to take on that job, that is the exact report that I would use to start your marketing campaigns and to start your analytics, your website redesign, whatever you have in mind, that's the report that I would use to base my findings off of. No customer comes through the door without going through a scouting report process, but this option is now available to just purchase on a one-time basis, quarterly, every 6 months, however you see fit. But this is really optimal for those people who are budgeting for their 2021 goals. If you're not exactly sure on where to spend your money as far as a website redesign or if you should invest in content marketing, it's probably a little bit of both. But these are the options that I give you in your personalized scouting report. So if you're interested in making that purchase, head on over to digitaldispatch.io. I'll also link to it in the description. But until then, please reach out if you have any questions. Once again, my name is Blythe Brumleve, and you can find me on LinkedIn at Blythe Brum.